Democracy is a false messiah. You think it will save you, but in reality it has been enslaving you. What you've been doing is following a cult culture of political leadership in Pakistan that has been imported from a non-Islamic world in conflict with the principles of the democratic principles of Islam. Pakistan was built in the name of Islam. But look at us, what we are doing. We have built, Nauzubillah, Astaghfirullah, Pakistanis have built idols of leaders that they tend to follow blindly, having complete 100% faith in these leaders, to the point that if these leaders tell them to stand up, they will stand up. If they tell them to sit down, they will sit down. If they tell them that it's night, they will say, yes, it is night. If they say it's day, they will say, yes, it is day. We're dealing with a cult culture of politics in Pakistan. We have 3 to 4 major political parties, starting with Bhutto. When Bhutto came, he was revered as a saint, as a strong leader. People loved him to such an extent that they're willing to have his entire political party that he founded be taken over by his future generations. So when we talk about democracy and the non-Islamic democracy that is practiced, so-called in the Western civilizations that we have tried to import from the West, that kind of democracy does not allow the son or the daughter of a political leader, even if that political leader has founded that party, to take over that party. That kind of practice cannot be found anywhere in the world. So when you look at how the Bhutto imperialism reigns in Pakistan People's Party, you will realize that Bhutto was followed by Benazir. Benazir was followed by Bilawal. So we're dealing with 2 generations of Bhutto. This is not democratic politics. This is cult politics, where basically you're revering everybody. You're revering one name to the point that you think that all his offsprings are able and competent enough to take over the tasks or the ideology of your party. That's not how things are done. That's not how democracy is practiced, even in the Western civilizations. And if you talk about the Islamic principles of democracy, it is totally different. Because in Islam, all the power is given to Allah. If you look at the entire concept of Western democracy, where the power belongs to the people, that actually is in complete conflict with Sharia. Because in Sharia, which starts with La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, all faith and all power should be vested into one being, and that is Allah. However, when you look around yourself, you see that this is not the case. If we say that we are following the democratic principles of Islam, prove it. How can you prove that we are vesting all our power, all our beliefs, all our faiths in Allah, when our people are following blindly Bhutto or Altaf Hussain or Imran Khan or Nawaz Sharif? We have these 3 to 4 cults built with a large herd of people, millions in number, crores of people who are listening to just one leader. It's a one-man show. People will stand in lines for hours waiting to shake hands with their leader. They will listen blindly to what their leader has to say. And if the leader makes a mistake, if the leader is drinking alcohol, if the leader is consuming drugs, illicit drugs, or if their leader is doing adultery or any kind of non-Islamic act, instead of standing up to him, you will see these activists actually defend their leaders. This is what happened recently. If you look at the gang war that happened between Nawaz League and the Insafians, as usual, both of them, it's like you have like a wrestling match going on, where both the parties stand up and they think they are gonna try to defend their leaders through rebuttal of the words that are really hard to understand, that it turns into some kind of a comic scene from Saturday Night Live or Comedy Central. It becomes so absurd and totally immature. And so at the end of the day, the point that I'm trying to convey over here is, let's stop following this cult psychology, because we were not built, we were not created by Allah to do this. Stop worshipping these idols. This is idolatry. This is idolship. You have created idols of all these leaders, and you will listen to them and you will obey them blindly, thinking that they want the best for you, when in reality, they just want to stay in power. They're just trying to do mind programming. They just want to control you. At the end of the day, you're not in control. You will never be in control. They will be in control. They will be controlling millions of you. And this is what's been going on since the inception of Pakistan. That we've been having this cult culture where one man is brought to a level of almost worship, idolatry, and a large pool of people follows that one man. And then that legacy never stops. And this is why we are failing again and again and again, because we have yet to give our complete blind faith to Allah. We have yet to submit our will to Allah's will. We are not doing that. When we say that we should have the power and not Allah, that is equivalent to shirk. That is equivalent to idolship. So what I'm trying to tell you is that stop looking up to democracy as a savior, whether it is the Western democracy or any kind of democracy that your cult leaders are trying to sell to you, because that will not save you. What will actually save you is implementation of Sharia. What will actually save you is to believe that you already have your sole supreme leader as Prophet, peace be upon him, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He gave you all the guidelines of how to implement justice, how to be honest and truthful, how to develop a very just society. You already have all those guidelines written in Quran, and all you need to do is you need to follow those, and you need to believe in the fact that you have no other leader except our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then when you see these cult leaders trying to tell you anything otherwise, anything different from what our Prophet, peace be upon him, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, told us to do in face of corruption, in face of injustice, in face of deceit and deception, it is your duty to confront your leaders. It is your duty to tell them that, no, I thought that you were right, but you're wrong. This is not how it is. You cannot commit racism, you cannot commit corruption, you cannot commit terrorism, you cannot commit deception, you cannot commit bribery, you cannot commit nepotism. You have to take that stand. You have to develop that faith, that blind faith in Allah only. I see a lot of you, almost all of you, who are following different political leaders, from Altaf Hussain to Bhutto to Imran Khan to Nawaz Sharif. Put all your faith, 100%, in your leaders. You will kill each other to defend them. That is not how it should be. That is called worshipping. That is called idolatry. That is actually in conflict with your religion. That is in conflict with your faith. So one question that people asked me earlier was that if we were to believe in our Prophet, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as the supreme sole leader of Pakistan and institute Islamic constitution, who's going to make sure that it is implemented? The answer to that is that look for a guardian of this Islamic constitution and Sharia laws who will implement them, who will say that, yes, I know what you want the democratic principles of Islam, and I will implement those for you. And I will make sure that Pakistan's constitution is 100% Islamic as it was thought about before the inception of Pakistan, before even Pakistan was founded. You have to look for that person who will do it for you. Until you find that person, you have to bypass all these cult leaders. Because democracy is not that they freeze your mind to the point that they make you lose your capacity to think. If they're hypnotizing you and telling you that this is not right and this is right, and they're basically freezing your mind so that you cannot think for yourself. You're basically losing your thought process, your independent thought process that liberates you, because you're dependent on the guidance and on the judgment of that one cult leader. That is just a cult. That is nothing less or more than a cult. And if you think you have been a part of such a cult, it is about time you decided to take off. You still have to find that one person amongst the 20 crore Pakistanis, that one person who will implement the Sharia of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ for you, that will give all power to Allah, that will make you be subservient to Allah only and nobody else. Thank you. ऐसे दस्तूर को सुबह बे नूर को मैं नहीं जानता, मैं नहीं मानता।